So today I want to talk about practicing licks and micro improvisation. All right. I love learning licks from different instruments. You've heard me in the past in these classes teach licks from, Earl Scruggs licks. Like you heard me teach that one, or that one I taught in one class. At some point I think I taught some stock fiddle licks, like or or that's a real common one. So I think licks on top of practicing improvising using pentatonic, blues scales and things like that. It's all part of like a wholesome practice. So in general, the outline of kind of how I like to spend my time is, fundamentals being double stops, pentatonic scales, blues scales, things like that. Licks that are stock and like that's a common one. Like licks that have been used by fiddlers, like tons of different fiddlers. And then transcriptions, which you see on my YouTube channel. I've transcribed some of Bobby Hicks solos. And then micro improvisations. So you're taking melodies and you're doing little variations on them. So let's touch today on licks, practicing licks in real contexts, and how I might go about incorporating them into something that's more natural. All right. So the first lick I want to teach today is this one. It actually comes from Monroe style mandolin playing, and it sounds like this. So cool little kind of slidey lick here, and we'll get it into different keys and things like that. And it's a real nice one for just like kind of plugging and playing and throwing anywhere. Another one I really like that maybe we can go over is this. That's a Bobby Hicks lick. So maybe we'll do that Bobby Hicks lick and the this mandolin lick. And I'll tell you how I practice that and incorporate it. So let's start. The very beginning of incorporating a lick should always be figuring out how it works rhythmically within the beat. All right. So the way we do that, we play like a beat, like a bluegrass beat kind of thing. You could put a G chord on. This is just the basic beat. And the lick we're working on within the timing sounds like this. So we try to speak that first, just the rhythm of it, the outline. Da 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 do ah do do ah dee da do ah do do da da do do ah do do ah do do ah do do da da do do ah do do ah do do ah do do. That's kind of the timing of it. Make sure you can do that while tapping your foot to the beat. Do do da do ah do do ah do do ah do 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 ah do do ah do do ah do 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 ah do do ah do do ah do. I always start with the shape and the rhythm of a lick or a solo first before learning notes. Before touching your instrument even. In order to get it to become intuition. So next step is we can identify the pitches. Now, if you can get a video of someone playing it and you can like get the, copy their fingers exactly, that can help you find pitches when they're challenging to hear. So I'll do that first, but then once you see it and like get clarity with what the pitches are, then I want to sing it apart for the instrument. Okay, so the pitches are this. This is a lick that's in G, and it starts on the D note, so the fifth. Okay, maybe I should demonstrate like this in a song so you can kind of get the musical example of it.
Right, sweet Willie.
That's where we'll go in a second with it. But let's get the pitches, right? And we can use our fingers to help us with that. So D is first, and then we're going to go down, slide that note down to a D flat. So that's the fifth going to the flat 5, which is from the minor blues scale. The reason this lick is so cool is it like draws notes from the minor blues and the major blues sound. So we got, that's coming from minor blues. Right? And then this next one here is from the major blues scale, B flat to B. Right? So first 3 notes are their third finger, low 3, 2, and then low 1 to 1. And then we're resolving to G. I would think of that as the first half of the lick. Now, I think the bowing matters for this. To make it comfortable, I think this is the bowing we're going to go with. So, I'm doing slur separate, slur separate. And that's the first half of the lick there. I would actually don't concern yourself too much with the bowing right now. The most important thing is getting the pitches. We're in the phase of, you know, making sure we get the pitches. So the second half of the lick goes ba-dum, ba-da. So of note, there's no D flat or C sharp here. Right? And then we end on G. So even if we don't have the pitches perfectly, let's practice singing that so we get it more intuitively, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to practice singing it over a song of 1-4-5. We'll sing it over our favorite 1-4-5 song here. I'll slow it down a little bit so we get more accuracy in our pitch. So, ba da da do dee do do da 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 do dee da, ba da da do dee da do ba do dee da do dee da, ba da da do dee da 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 do dee da do dee da, ba da da do dee da do ba do dee da do da da, da 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 do dee do do da do dee da do dee da, da 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 do dee do do ba da 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 do dee da, ba da da do dee do do ba do be da do dee do. Make sure you can tap the beat and sing that at the same time. Okay, this is intuition. Getting into the intuition. Ba da da do dee do do ba da 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 do dee do, ba da da do dee do do ba do dee da do dee do, ba da da do dee do do ba do dee da do dee do, ba da da do dee do do ba da 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 do dee do, ba da da do dee do do ba da ba da do dee do, ba da da do dee do do ba da ba da do dee do, ba da da do dee do do ba da 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 do dee do, ba da. Now I'm gonna drop out. See if you can sing them and keep the beat. Okay. So we got the first one. Next one. Da da da. Ba da. First one. Or sorry, the same one. Ba da da do dee do. Ba da 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 do dee. First one. Ba da da. Ba da. Again. Ba da da. Next one starts here. Ba da da. Now. Ba da da do dee do. Ba da da do dee do. Okay, so don't forget to skip that step of being able to sing licks, because that's what's going to get them in the long term, and help you really internalize that, right? So let's get back to the mechanics of playing it. So we got slurred notes, separate, slurred notes, separate. That's why it's good to sing like dee da boo da, D-U-da-boo-E-da. So you get the kind of the slurring in there too. Okay. And actually, I think the first lick is having 2 G's. So that's the first half of the lick, I should say. B-U-da-do-E-da-da. And then the kind of the next half of it, I think of it as being... So that starts on an up bow with a B flat to B. And then D and C separate. And then B flat B slurred. So maybe do the second half of this starting on an up bow. Slur, separate slur. Starting on an up bow. And it's always, whenever I demonstrate, I want to make sure you understand it in the context of the beat. So this is like... It's the second half here. Try to put them together. Maybe this is a little too fast for us right now. Okay, once you get that, try moving it to another string with the same fingers. Now this lick is defined by the note it ends on. So it's a lick that's starting on the 5th of the chord, but it's defined by the note it's ending on. So you're not, if you wanted to play this as like a G lick, you're not going to start on G. You're going to start on D, the 5th of G. All right. So let's put it in a musical context now, and I'm going to describe the specific scenario that I'm putting this in, and hopefully it will become just a thread of how we put any lick or practice any scale or lick or anything. The idea is you find a finger pattern for a scale or a lick that you want to practice, and you pick a key that is somewhere in the middle of the a key that is on the middle 2 strings of your instrument, right? Because if you pick a key that's on the middle 2 strings of your instrument, then when it moves to the 5 chord, you can use the same fingers just over a string. And it moves to the 4 chord, you could use the same fingers just over this way on the string. So what we're doing next is not just this is how I learned this one particular lick, but it should be like, think through the process here of this is how I could apply anything, whether it's a break I've learned or a lick or a scale that I want to practice. You want to pick a key that's in the middle of the instrument. So I'm going to pick the key of G so that you can play this lick in G. And when we go to the 5 chord, we're going to move over here to D. And then when we move to 4, we can go here. Like it's very important that you sing it. I mean, I really think that singing it, like if you haven't yet sung it in tune and with those slurs, that's really the most important thing that will get this in your long-term playing ability, right? Because that's going to transfer to other keys rather than just, learn it in the one scenario that I wrote down here, right? So it's like ba da da do wa do da. We want to be able to sing just that, like while tapping the beat. Ba da da do ah do do. That's the first half, and then the second half. Do ah dee da do ah do. Do ah dee da do ah do. And then you try them together. Ba da do do ah do do. Dee ah do da do ah do. So, what I'm going to do is maybe 2 times we'll practice through this chord for the more advanced people who are kind of ready to apply this. I'm going to go through the chord progression 2 times so we can practice it. If you don't get it right away, maybe try to just aim for the first half of this or the second half. And then, but don't worry about getting it right now. This is more a demonstration on how we practice licks. So we can kind of go to other things as well, and that it's paced right for everybody. So I'm just going to demonstrate 2 times. And like I said, if you want to take just the first half of the lick, we'll practice using this lick in the context of the song. Then I do it in D. Back to G. Same thing. C. One more round of that. If you're not ready to do the whole thing, just do the first half of it, maybe like this. Kind of wait. G again. Now move it over a string. So that's the idea there. Pause that. That's lick number 1. So this is just a demonstration on how you might get a lick in your playing. Some other things I'm practicing like right now are Vassar Clements has a lick that goes like this.
To her breath.
Over the licks. I do the same thing for any sort of lick I want to incorporate. Or let's see, what's another one? Here's like a Bobby Hicks swing thing. Can't do it for D, unfortunately, but
her she was going to rest.
right. So same idea, right? That's hopefully demonstrates the power of kind of like practicing licks in real scenarios, right? So let me play through the this starting on each finger, and maybe I'll play this song that I would play just so you can kind of you might do this yourself. So if I wanted to work on getting the first finger version in my fingers, I would play this in the key of E.
As in cried wandered home for eternity.
So that would look like this. Don't worry about following me. This is for later.
Wandered home between 12 and 1. I cried, my God, what have I done? I've killed the only girl I need, 'cause she would not marry me.
So that would give you that one would give you the first finger pattern, which would unlock that lick in the key of E, A, and B. Then I would do it in the key of let's see. Maybe the key of A, which would give you these. This one looks like this.
I asked my love to take a walk just a little way, and as we walked along we talked of when would be our wedding day, and only say
So that's that, and then the final key would be start on fourth finger, third finger, second finger. So that'd be key of F. Oh, this is gonna be quick. Anyway, you can use YouTube Magic on the replay if you wanted to learn any of those in any different keys. But that's that. Let's take a look at another lick here. So I think this one's really useful. This is a Bobby Hicks lick that I got out of this is a great filler lick, but it also works in solos a lot. This actually I took this from a solo. I believe it was in Big Spike Hammer. Big Spike Hammer. So anyway, the lick, I think of it in two parts. We'll just learn the first part. It goes. It kind of does that, and then there's he plays another one out to, which I would say that could be a lick in itself, right? But let's both of these I think are really useful in both melody settings, and also in backup settings. So let's learn this one. It's a great lick. So let's learn it in starting on an open string first. So first thing to do, if we kind of if we review this lick learning process, is to sing it, the contour of the rhythm, with a backing track. Okay. So this one goes ba do do ba doo do ba do ba doo da ba do ba da. Let's try that together. Do ba do ba doo do ba do ba doo da ba do da. So I'm trying to get the slurs in there, right, with my speaking. Do ba do ba doo do ba do ba doo da ba do da. While tapping the beat. Do ba do ba doo do ba do ba doo do ba do da. Do ba do ba doo do ba do ba doo da ba do da. We're gonna start in G, so let's maybe sing it. So ba da do ba doo do ba do ba doo da ba do da. Make sure you tap your foot and sing that at the same time. Da ba do ba doo da ba do ba doo da ba do da. Do ba doo ba doo doo ba doo ba doo da ba doo dum. Now notice this lick is defined by the last note it ends on. That's usually how licks are kind of organized. So we're gonna put this in key of G, so we can kind of move it over to two adjacent keys too. All right. So let's learn the notes of it now. We've sang it. We put it in time. That's the most important thing, right? We've sang it, and now let's learn the notes. So we got. So to get do ba doo, we're gonna go do ba doo from the pentatonic G pentatonic scale. All separate. And now slur, just like we sang it. Do ba doo ba doo. Let me make sure I get the bowing right for you. Okay, now so I gave you the bowing wrong. Sorry, it goes. Those are all up bows. So 3 up bows. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Then the last part goes A, G, E, D, G, A, G, E, D, G, A, G, E, D, G. Always with the beat. So that's the lick. Move it over to different keys. You'll notice that you can get a bunch of keys out of this. That's C. You get key of D as well. So starting here, bum, ba da 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 dee dee do ba do ba dee dee da ba do da. You only get it really one time per thing. Ba do ba do dee ba do ba do dee da ba do ba dum. Ba ba do ba dee dee do ba do ba do dee da ba do dum. Now over the D chord. Ba ba do ba do dee do ba do ba do ya ba do. Back to G. Ba ba do ba dee do ba do ba ya ba da ba do dum. Then C, you kind of can't play the whole thing, but you can't really resolve that one to C because it switches back to G. But you get the general idea. So now I'll slow it down. We can practice it together.
Into her breast, and I
Practice at that speed together. There you go. D. Then we go back to G. Then we go to C. Starting on open G. And then we go starting on the D string, so the G version of it. D, now starting on the A string. Starting on the D string. Now I'll start on the G string for the C word. is over the D string, this lick.
Going to rest. Rising early.
Starting on open G, this will give you C. And then kind of play with the lick, so don't finish it all the way. It goes something like this. So that kind of leads us to where I wanted to go next, which is micro improvisation, right? So micro improvisation is where we take a lick or a melody or a piece of a melody and we play around with it. We get creative with it. We treat it like a piece of Play-Doh that's like pliable, and we can, rip it into different shapes and build into a house or a hippopotamus or something. That's getting playful with licks and melodies and things like that.